We spend so much money on shoes, we spend so much money on clothes, and then we get all mad that we get injured because, well, we could have been doing so much more, like supplementing.
These supplements are an insurance policy to a good health promoting diet.
All right, before we get into this video, all products that we're talking about today are gonna be listed in the description. Also, if you're looking for a 4-week challenge, fitness and mental health related, check it out in the description as well. It's the Fuelmyrun 4-week reset, and it is bomb. This is just to prove that I don't kill all of my plants. Okay, let's get into the video.
So let's do this thing. So today we have Dr. Michael Murray, widely regarded as one of the world's leading authorities on natural medicine. He's a doctor of naturopathy, a field of alternative medicine that seeks to harness the power of nature to prevent illnesses and achieve the highest level of health possible, which is freaking awesome. You brought a ton of products to North America. You've been all over TV, the internet. You've wrote so many books. It's like, I can't even count how many books that you've written. You probably know though. And one of them being the Encyclopedia of Nutritional Supplements, which is part of the reason why you're here today. And I've been lucky to work with you in the past. So I'm super stoked that you're taking this time to talk to me about all the questions that I have.
Great, let's go.
Okay, so obviously you know I'm a runner and I just love fitness in general and living a healthy lifestyle. And one of the most commonly asked questions I get, because I think a lot of people know that I've been into supplements a lot in the past and I take fish oil and all that good stuff. Really, what are the best supplements that runners could and should be taking? Let's start from the beginning though. So why, in your opinion, do you think that runners should or shouldn't take a supplement or take supplements in general?
I think everybody needs to be on some foundational supplements because they provide critical nutrients that our body needs to be healthy, especially during this pandemic that's going on. There's a big focus on immune function, so we need to make sure that we have all the building blocks that our immune system needs to help fight off this virus and others.
Okay, so you're saying so everybody should be taking supplements?
Yes, I really believe that. I look at supplements as being kind of like a nutritional insurance policy. It's virtually impossible to get everything that we need from our diet. The reality is that we don't, and that nutrient deficiency is a real entity in the United States, and we're seeing the evidence of that by what's happening with this pandemic.
So even if you eat all of the right foods, hypothetically, like you're getting in your, the right micronutrients and all that kind of stuff, you still can be deficient?
Yeah, and there's a difference between meeting all of our needs from a nutritional standpoint that prevents signs and evidence of deficiency versus what's the optimal intake. And, we want to be functioning optimally. We just don't want to be getting by. And I think that's where nutritional supplementation can really provide some advantages. And we know that as it relates to immune function, we can significantly improve immune function if we make sure that we have all these vital nutrients. So I think there are some key things I think everybody should be taking. One is a good high potency, sort of like, chewy gummy or something. It's something that's going to provide you the recommended dietary intakes of all the vitamins and minerals.
So you may be thinking, Michelle, how old are you? You can't be going through menopause yet unless you have a really good plastic surgeon. Maybe you can give me their number. That's not the case. I accidentally got the menopause multivitamin, but after consulting with Dr. Murray, basically it's a multivitamin without the iron. So I have the iron supplement. I take that in addition to the multi, and it's all good. It's not honestly too much different than what you're taking if you're not going through menopause, if that makes sense. So
vitamins and minerals work in our body as components of enzymes, and enzymes are either building other molecules or breaking them down. So enzymes are what make us alive, and vitamins and minerals function in those enzymes, and we need both the mineral and the vitamins. So vitamins have gotten a lot of focus, but minerals are really important as well. So looking as to what to take, you want to take the recommended dietary intake of all these micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, particularly those important trace minerals like zinc and selenium, and for women, iron. We need these minerals as much as we do the vitamins. So I think a multiple is something that's really important. Extra vitamin D3, that's in the news a lot, and the reality is that 90% of North Americans don't get enough vitamin D3, and this puts our immune system at risk. We're not going to have an important component if we're not sufficient in vitamin D3. So most experts are recommending a level of 2,000 to 4,000 IUs of vitamin D3 each day. I think fish oils are a good recommendation. These long-chain omega-3 fatty acids are really important for fighting inflammation.
Okay, really fast. So if you don't know, which you probably don't, I helped launch this product from a marketing perspective. And it's pretty cool because every bottle you buy, a portion of that sale goes to saving the coral reefs in the Florida Keys, which is the 3rd largest reef system in the world. I don't know about you, but I like when I purchase a product when it has kind of a double meaning of purchasing it. Like, one, it benefits me, but also it's kind of benefiting the world or someone else in need. So I don't know, kind of cool.
So those are some of the things that I think are really important. I like to also recommend taking some sort of plant-based antioxidant, some sort of flavonoid-rich product. Flavonoids are plant pigments, some sort of greens drink, or some sort of super berry extract, something like that is really important to make sure we have full antioxidant protection. And one thing that happens when we run, the metabolism is really increased, and so too is the formation of compounds that can damage our body, pro-oxidants and free radicals. So if we don't have the protection through eating a diet rich in plant foods and these antioxidant nutrients, our cells can become damaged through exercise. So taking some additional plant-based antioxidant, I think, provides some good protection. Beyond this foundation, which I think everybody should be taking, Michelle, I think there are some specific supplements that I like to recommend to runners. Especially during this time, we know that overtraining is associated with immune depression.
Yeah.
And people that are regularly really pushing themselves, and especially if they're not getting all the nutrients they need, their immune system can become depressed. So I like to look at some things that can boost immune function. And there have been some great studies with natural products in runners and in marathon runners and triathletes and endurance athletes. And we can take advantage of that research by actually using these products. One of the best studied immune enhancers is Wellmune. It's a special form of baker's yeast, and the compounds known as beta-glucans that are in this product have been shown to be very helpful in boosting immune function, and studies have shown a dramatic ability to reduce the number of upper respiratory infections or viral infections in runners that take 500 milligrams of Wellmune daily. So I think it's a really good recommendation.
That's super interesting because during my training, when I get to my peak, when, my miles are up and I'm a little bit more fatigued, I kind of feel like I'm getting sick a little bit. Or after a marathon, and I think a lot of people we get a little bit sick. Like we have a stuffy nose, our immune,
Yeah, it's a thing, and it's based upon scientific studies as well. We know that post-marathon infections are real because of the severe stress to the immune system. Well, Wellmune has been shown to protect against that, so it's very important. Another natural product that has some similar effects is Quercetin. Quercetin is a flavonoid type of plant pigment, and it's been shown to also reduce upper respiratory viral infections in runners. In one study, basically shut down the risk of developing a flu or a cold in runners, while the placebo group had a very high percentage of people that got sick. There's a special form of quercetin that I like. It's called quercetin lipomycel matrix. That's a lot to say, but we're going to have a list and get people the right information.
Cool.
Quercetin is hard to absorb, so we have to use forms that have been shown to enhance the absorption of quercetin, and this is one of the best forms for doing that. But I think the combination of the Wellmune with the quercetin is really important these days for that additional antiviral protection. Next, we got to talk about how we support those joints.
Yes.
Because running is absolutely brutal on the joints. And I'm sure that people that are really into running know the importance of proper mechanics. Proper mechanics are really important, and if they're a pronator or a supinator, they've got to have the right shoes. Their stride has to be right, because what happens as we age, our joints, if there's a lot of movement and a lot of misalignment, those joints start to degenerate, and that's known as osteoarthritis, which is the most common form of arthritis. So any form of mechanical dysfunction is going to increase the risk of developing osteoarthritis. Now, we can utilize some nutritional supplements to help reduce some of that stress, and I'm sure everybody's heard of glucosamine. Glucosamine sulfate is something that I recommend for runners. And even though there may not be osteoarthritis present, studies have shown, like in soccer players, young soccer players, they can help prevent joint damage and cartilage damage through glucosamine sulfate supplementation. So I think it's a really good idea. 1,500 milligrams of glucosamine sulfate a day. I prefer to use a product called Osteomove. This is made by a company that I used to work with called Natural Factors. And I like it because it's a kitchen sink approach to nutritional support for joint health. And what we know about cartilage and joint structures is that it requires many nutrients in order for these compounds to be formed properly. And glucosamine serves as an important building block, but it's kind of like having a ladder factory. You can have all the parts of the ladder, but if you don't have people actually putting it together, it's not going to be that helpful. So these other nutrients, I think, help glucosamine do its job, which is to be a structural component. It's one of those components in the ladder. And so it's very important, I think, for runners to make sure that they're supplying their body with these important nutrients for cartilage structures.
I completely forgot about that section of supplements, but joint health is huge. And I feel like there's a lot of runners that could really benefit from adding that into their routine.
Especially if they're over 50, Michelle, it's an absolute criteria for them to maintain joint health. But I think even even a teenager, I would consider supplementing with these joint-specific type formulas like the Osteomove. These supplements are an insurance policy to a good health-promoting diet. Now, we can't get everything we need from supplements. Food is where we build that pillar of health. Yeah.
I just can't have supplements all day and water, you're saying?
You can't. No, but they are important in their action as supplements. They're filling in, making sure there's no cracks in the armor. A couple of other things. One, I'm a big fan of eating a high potassium diet. I also like utilizing potassium salts. Now, most potassium salts don't taste so well, so I developed my own. It's available that I heard Dr. Murray's Perfect Salt. I encourage people to give that a try and just replace their table salt with this sort of potassium salt. Our body needs way more potassium than sodium, and I don't think salt pills or Gatorade type electrolyte replacements, I don't think they're that healthy. I think we need higher potassium than sodium.
Wow.
So
I never knew that.
That's a recommendation there. And lastly, magnesium. Magnesium is so important for runners. It can prevent muscle cramps, and it can also help the muscles recover, and it can help us get a better night's sleep. So I like to recommend runners take 250 to 400 milligrams of magnesium at night before going to bed. It'll help put them in a relaxed, restful state, and it'll help those muscles recover. This is especially important if they're cramping.
Okay.
Cramping is often a lack of magnesium or potassium or B vitamins, so we have to take care of those things.
Can magnesium be found in a multivitamin, or do you usually have to take it separately?
It can be found. A lot of times what happens in a multiple, because calcium and magnesium, we need higher levels of them, they're often not found at full RDI levels in a multiple. So I think runners need a little bit more, because we lose magnesium and potassium in perspiration as well as expiration. So I just think it's one of these nutrients where the levels required for somebody who's really working out for long periods of time. Swimmers, I mean, gosh, those swimmers, they're in the water for hours sometimes. There's a lot of special recommendations that they need as well because of the exposure to the chlorine in the water. Well, that's another topic, right?
A lot of the time, and I'll admit it, don't kill me, but sometimes I just, I don't take my fish oil, don't take my multi, and then I just go a few days without doing it. And then I just think it's the easiest thing you can do. You just put it in a little thing, a little tray thing, just take it in the morning with some water, or like after a meal or whenever you're supposed to. It's not a crazy thing to do. I don't know. And if we could be doing it to be better in what we love, like running, why aren't we doing it? We try to get the next best pair of shoes. We spend so much money on shoes. We spend so much money on clothes, and then we get all mad that we get injured because, well, we could have been doing so much more, like supplementing. I don't know. It just seems like a no-brainer when I think about it.
I think there's so many collateral benefits. I think it sends us a message to your subconscious mind that you're taking care of yourself, and you're doing something good for your body, and you're showing love and respect to yourself. And I think that reverberates and has a positive effect. So
totally. Yeah. Well, okay, so we're going to be providing a list of all the stuff we talked about. Thank you so much, Dr. Mike, Dr. Murray. I really appreciate it. A lot of people I know could benefit from a lot of these. For those interested in my 4-week plan, I will link below in the description if you're interested. I definitely recommend getting some of Dr. Mike's books.
My latest book is called The Longevity Matrix, and a blueprint on how to live better and stronger. And if you take care of those things, you're going to live longer. So I like that book a lot.
So that's a win-win. I'm going to link to that too. Thank you so much. You have an excellent rest of your day.
Thanks, Michelle.
Bye.